When you think of it as digital gold, then it should replace gold. Gold's worth $10 trillion, and that takes Bitcoin to 500,000. But when you think of it as digital property, like replacing buildings and land and other long storeholds of wealth, then you're up by a factor of 20 or 30 from there. I mean, it should not be it's much better than digital gold because I can move Bitcoin at the speed of light and I can program it to 1 million transactions an hour on an iPhone or a website. You can't do that with gold. So it's got more utility than gold, which means it's probably worth 20 or 30 trillion if it just replaces the gold. But instead of buying the Fontainebleau Hotel, which is a nice hotel, worth whatever billions in Miami Beach, instead of buying the equivalent amount of Bitcoin, if you bought the Bitcoin, you can move that to any city in the world every hour of the day, compose it, decompose it, recompose it, dematerialize it. And, when there's a nasty tax on it, you can just move yourself to a different jurisdiction where there's a better tax treatment. And if you think of it like that, then it's a multi-$100 trillion asset class. So at 10 trillion, it's 500,000. At 100 trillion, it's 5 million. So I think, we're marching toward $10 trillion, which is, $10 million a coin, which is why Bitcoin enthusiasts see it's just a very great long-term store of value. And it's a great investment idea.
Bitcoin crashed below $16,000 on November 9th, driving the price to its lowest level in 2 years. The two-day correction totaled a 27% downtrend and wiped out $352 million worth of leverage long futures contracts. Inflationary pressure and fear of a global recession have driven investors away from riskier assets. This protective movement has caused the U.S. Treasury's 5-year yield to reach 4.33% earlier in November, its highest level in 15 years. Investors demand a higher premium to hold government debt, signaling a lack of confidence in the Federal Reserve's ability to curb inflation. Contagion risks from FTX and Alameda Research's insolvency are the most pressing issues. Hello and welcome to Money Talks. In today's video, Bitcoin evangelist and chairman of MicroStrategy Michael Saylor updates about the key reasons why Bitcoin will be the winner because it is a digital commodity and it's the least controversial of everything, along with an updated price prediction for the cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin represents a paradigm shift. It's the digital transformation of money, property, and energy. And paradigm shifts are so profound that you're staring at them and you don't realize they took place because your worldview is constructed based upon a bunch of assumptions that you've always taken for granted. And so what Thomas Kuhn says in the structure of scientific revolutions and what we study at MIT is there's only two circumstances under which people willingly undergo a paradigm shift. And one way is you wait for the old guard to die. And the millennials they get it because they're different. And Einstein, said God does not play dice with the universe. Einstein never liked quantum theory. You could be a brilliant person, but you won't embrace the paradigm shift while you're alive in the absence of a crisis. The second way you get paradigm shift is a war. When there's a war and there are bombs dropping from above, you don't believe in atomic power, but then someone drops a nuclear weapon and the city evaporates, and all of a sudden you become a believer and you reassess your priorities.
MicroStrategy's chief executive, Michael Saylor, shared his thoughts regarding the FTX and Binance fiasco this week that shocked crypto industry insiders and outsiders alike. Speaking for all Bitcoiners, we feel we're trapped in a dysfunctional relationship with crypto and we want out, he said with interview CNBC's Squawk on the Street program. He added that Bitcoin BTC USD will be the winner because Bitcoin is a digital commodity and it's the least controversial of everything.
The average person, the middle-class person that drives an Uber or works as a dentist, they can't buy $387 worth of a building in New York City every month is their savings plan. right? And a person in Africa can't buy a small share of a nice piece of property. They can't buy $127 worth of a Picasso painting. So Bitcoin offers property rights at any scale, any amount of money, anybody in the world, and you don't have to worry about, will people like Picassos? Will they still want buildings in Vegas or New York? Will some politician tax it away from me? Well, can I take it through an airport? So if you're looking for an egalitarian, utilitarian way for people to save money and protect their life force or protect their economic wealth for the next 100 years, and you are looking for something that's kind of consistent with the mobile wave, Android phones, iPhones, websites, that's truly global.
Asked about regulation, Saylor said that the industry needed to grow up and that regulations are coming into this space. The events this week will accelerate regulatory intervention, said Saylor. Earlier this week, Binance chief executive Changpeng Zhao announced an intent to acquire fellow crypto exchange FTX. A day later, he pulled out of the deal, saying that decision was a result of corporate due diligence as well as latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged U.S. agency investigations.
I thought when Google came public, I was too late. But if you look at the really great successes of our lifetime, Peter, the digital monopolies, the Apple, the Google, the YouTube, the Facebook, these things.
The MicroStrategy.
We thought that we were late to them, but the truth is Google would have been a good idea to invest in, all the way up to like a few months ago. It's still getting more powerful, and you think you've fully embraced Google in the year 2018, but Google was going to get more powerful and surge. And if you thought you understood it in 2020, by 2021 it was more powerful. And the same is true with Apple. And Apple and Google, probably more powerful than most nation states. Same with Microsoft. We thought Microsoft, we understood that one, and Microsoft got more powerful in the past 24 months.
With progressive regulation, people won't see 20,000 tokens like we do now, he said. Instead, he said there will be a handful of tokens and they'll be properly registered.
I've had a passion for a lot of things in life, but if we just focus upon Bitcoin right now, I think the fundamental issue is the energy balance in the civilization is broken. I think if you look at the civilization, you could say half of it is we provide goods and services and we trade with each other in order to upgrade the human condition and build things of value, right? We build bridges and buildings, we provide goods and services. But the other half is the money, the financial assets in the economy that create the financing, the liquidity that allow the trading. And money, the way I see money is in the ideal world, there'd be a certain ledger, a certain amount of money, 100 million units or 100 billion units, and no one would make any more. And God would keep track of the ledger. And if I owed you, it's in the celestial ledger. And then when you owe me, it's the same. Nobody can cheat anybody. Everybody can trade with everybody.
And the more value I create for society, the more of it I get.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just fair and a fair and equitable medium to or system for trading.
The interview was capped off by Saylor saying the events of this week had been a teachable moment for everyone. It teaches you that if you're going to have a crypto asset, it needs to be nobody else's liability. You need to have full transparency to it. And that's what Bitcoin is, and that's what the FTX token FTT was not. So, do you agree with Michael Saylor's $500,000 per Bitcoin price prediction? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.